How we doing, football fans? My name is Jaron Horton. I have over a decade of coaching experience across the NFL, the SEC, FBS, UFL, USFL, AAF. Man, I've been everywhere. And today we're looking at the biggest plays, the most explosive plays from week 3 in the UFL in 2026. And through the first 2 weeks, it seemed man coverage was the biggest culprit in the explosive plays, whether that be from dropping coverage or just misfits in the run game. But this week is a little bit different. I've seen a lot more split safety coverage, more cover four, palms, maybe cover six in Tampa. But now offenses are really just taking their one on one shots outside. Deion Kane shows up, Hakeem Butler shows up. Um, some of those big play receivers down the field that can stretch the field vertically and can win their one-on-ones. Those guys really showed up this week, as well as some more scheme in the offense. Now that we're in week 3, about a month of camp, so now we're about give or take 2 months into these teams being together. The offenses are now kind of stacking and creating a bigger catalog of playbook really and of play knowledge. So now they're able to build a little bit more. Whereas in week 1 and 2, you've only run maybe 20% of your offense, but now you're kind of getting up to maybe 40, 45, where you can really build on stuff. You're running stretch to now play action bootleg throwback, which we're going to see from Birmingham. And you're running a little bit more double moves because your offensive line is gelling a little bit, giving you more time in the pocket. All right. So enough explaining about what we're going to see. And now let's really just get into it and watch the tape. So, like we said in the intro, we saw a little bit more split field safety coverage. And here we see the double move. This is Deion Kane. Deion's been one of the best, if not the best receiver in this space for the past I don't know, 3-4 years now. He's got the long speed. He's got the ability to catch the ball over his shoulder. Here we can see the double move, right? There's a little hitch and go. Corral gives a nice pump fake to get the corner to trigger, and now we're playing cover 4. So this safety is thinking, I'm free. I'm a robber player. He's not thinking I'm getting over the top on this. He's now thinking, oh, I'm gonna go really vice this hitch route, vice tackle this to where if he cuts back inside, I'm going to make the tackle. And now what we want to see this safety do is not look back, because when he looks back too late, and he kind of puts himself in a bad situation where Deion can work through the contact, make the catch, and once he's in the open field, good luck catching him. He's got the speed to take the top off, clearly. Get a little play action, the pump fake to get both those corner and the safety to trigger. Like we said, we're getting a little bit longer with the O-line to gel together, getting a little bit more protection. Matt does a great job. He feels the pressure right into his face, stands in the pocket, throws a strike. And this was a highly contested, close game. This put them up 27-23. We know if you watch the game, St. Louis ended up winning, but this was a very competitive game. So now this is the following series. Right after Deion Kane and Birmingham and AJ and Matt set them up, really they went up 30-20. So they're up 10 right now with 11 minutes left in this game. All right, they're up 10 points, and now St. Louis is like, we got to go. So Michael Pratt was thrown into this game, I think around halftime, and he had a very rough start. I think he threw 2 picks on his first 2 passes. But now Hakeem Butler, same thing. AJ Smith and Ricky Prohl saw, oh, you guys can do double moves? Well, look, we can do double moves too. Here, Birmingham's playing, looks like man free. They got a low hole player and a deep safety, but they're getting a double move at the top. And Pratt does a great job. You can see his eyes go to the right side, to the bottom side of the field first to get this post safety to lean that way. They get the double move on the corner up top. He triggers on that out, and then it's just basically routes on air. And like we saw last week, I'm sorry, not Dion. Hakeem Butler, he's not a burner necessarily, but he's a long strider. And once he gets running, he's hard to stop. He's hard to catch. And here, what we can see, Michael Pratt does a great job. Right now, his eyes are to the left side of the screen, to the offense's right. And you can see our safety here, Trey Norwood. He's a great safety. He's reading the QB's eyes. So the QB's looking right. He's going to lean right. And now he doesn't get his eyes back to the quarterback until a little bit too late. And the quarterback's already seeing that he's got the guy open. But even if he got his eyes back there, he was probably never going to get there. And the coaching point that we can see on from the corner, we'll take it back, is when you're triggering on this out route right here, you really want to take a upfield angle. You want to hit that upfield shoulder. And what we mean by that is you want to go through his upfield shoulder, through his outside shoulder. So if he does run that out route, he runs through you. Because we would rather take 15 yards or 20, 25, wherever the spot foul is. We would rather take that really and put the ball on the 50, which would be 10, 15-yard penalty. We'll take 15 yards, play another snap, but we don't want this touchdown for 64 yards. That's not what we're looking for, obviously. So now we're taking it to DC and Houston. Houston is one of the teams that has run the most man coverage this year, and in my opinion, that's shown to be a fatal flaw for them. This was the first drive of the game. This is DC's second play of the game. So they can tell they're in man right here. They've got the nickel up to the top of the field. This is Eli, safety down to the right, right? And here's their tight end because they're in 11 personnel. They motion the tight end in, so they could be in cover 3, they could be in man. Either way, it's going to be the same fits. So they're going to motion in and really do a crack and a pin pull, which is like a stretch. They're going to pull 2 guys, crack, get him here, and then basically just read it and fit where needed. So really they pull 3 guys here. Basically because they're cracking the defensive end, the tackle's going to pull around. So as we're going to see when we get to the tight is we're just not fit right for Houston. And that can be the problem when you're playing single high. If one guy gets out of a gap, then you're in trouble. And Deion Jackson had a great game against Columbus last week, and he came back and showed us this was not a fluke of a game. He came back and had another big game for DC. DC was up big on Houston early. But now what happens is Eli is seeing when this down block happens, I need to crack replace. But he's a little bit too tight on this motion where he needs to be wider now because as this guy pulls, he probably needs to stay outside of that. Or he needs to loop over the top. Eli's probably got to stay outside how they draw it up, and 57 is going to go right here and scrape over the top. But really what you would probably like to see at this point is 28 to keep going over the top. But Eli's got to stay outside of 71 because now we don't have an edge on the defense. This is a really good design play by DC. They've been designing great plays in the run game, using their angles, using motion, using pullers to give them advantageous looks and to allow their running backs to just, in this situation, hit the edge and use their God-given ability and run for a 60-yard touchdown. This is at 20-20, tied in the second or in the fourth quarter. Here, Louisville is running what looks like quarters, I would say. How they're playing this, it looks like quarters. So it's really just a 2-man route. And really what's going to happen is when we get 2-man route in quarters, these 2 players are going to bracket this guy, and then the safety and the corner over here are going to bracket this guy. So here we get a very good route. I believe this is Elijah Badger, number 3. He gives us a nice, really corner post here, where now Keaton is seeing this over. He needs to see this guy right here. He needs to play on the inside of this vertical because this safety should be able to cut this guy off. And then EG really should be able to help underneath this if this ball keeps coming over. We want Keaton to stay inside here. So if we get this big post, he's really underneath it. And we would like this corner to stay on the top of it because we don't need to come off of that. What I would like to see from these guys is really this guy needs to climb for this one. And he can be over the top, or if he feels that Keaton's over the top and he sees this guy underneath, then he can stay over here for this one. But really, I would like that corner at the top of the field to sink more because there's nothing coming back for him. Nothing is coming back this way. If this back leaks out, we've got a short quarters player right here that can take that. So really, he should get depth when his two or his one goes over. He should be looking for something coming back across the field, and Keaton needs to stay inside of that, like we said. But this is a good route. He kind of sells the corner to get Keaton to open his hips, and then he goes back across the field, and Keaton has to. He's really caught in between the speed turn or the just open field turn, and does a great job. Jack Plummer on the dot. They reviewed it. It was a touchdown. Kind of like we said, when it's just a two-man route, if you're a DB, flip, get depth, look for crossers. But here we can see great ball by Jack Plummer. He's been very accurate this year, very efficient with the ball, which is allowing them to win football games. And this is a great diving catch by Elijah Badger. I mean, shoot, that's full extension. That's great. That's a tremendous catch by him. Orlando ended up winning this game in a really kind of weird rules where there were two consecutive defensive fouls, which allowed Orlando to win the game. Here we're back in the Birmingham and St. Louis game. So Birmingham's in 12 personnel. They motion from a 2x2 to now a 3x1 wing set. All right. Now, this play, as this develops, they're giving us stretch action, but why are they going to run stretch to the boundary, to the short side of the field, away from their tight end pair? That's just kind of weird, right? Typically, if you're going to run stretch, you're probably going to want to run stretch to the pairs where you have the numbers, right? Because now they have the center, really four numbers over here plus the center, and they have four right here plus the center. He can climb over. So they have the numbers advantage over here. Here it's really 3-on-3 if you count the center. If you count the center over here, then it's really 5-on-4. So why are they running to the short side of the field? Well, really they're trying to set something up, and they get what they want. They get cover 3. They get single high. This looks like a sort of corner pressure, which I think St. Louis does enjoy. They like to send this corner, especially on the short side of the field. He triggers, and now he's the deep third player over here, or he's playing man on this guy. But it looks like we're playing zone behind it, and he should be the deep third. But he triggers because he's seeing run. And now he's thinking, oh, shoot, I got to go chase this guy. But really, it's this guy leaking across that's uncovered and ends up being a great play for Birmingham. Really wish Matt could have let it just a little bit more so Jordan didn't have to slow down and kind of catch it behind him. But Jordan Thomas being, I think he's 6'7" or something like that. Shoot, probably 280. He's a big dude. He's going to be tough to bring down for a corner with a full head of steam like that. But this is kind of what we were talking about. Teams are now on offense able to build on their playbook and kind of run trick plays and set stuff up and give the defenses different looks, to where the first 2 weeks of the season it was pretty vanilla on offense because, like we said, the O-lines hadn't been together very long. Even the team hadn't been together very long to kind of get deep in your playbook and have the reps at practice to do trick plays and stuff like that. But now we're starting to see a little bit more of that, see some more competitive, high-scoring games. This is a great scheme from Coach Siski, Coach AJ. Even in the losing effort, they're starting to pick it up on offense. Now, in this next clip, we got Louisville's offense once again against Orlando's defense. And Orlando looks like they're playing a form of either cover 2 or cover 6. Here, I would say it's probably cover 6, based on how we're playing down here at the bottom and how this guy's playing up here. So we're getting half field coverage here, and we're getting quarters on this side. So this is a good concept against this coverage because what they're running is, I call this concept Oregon, but it's really just Y seam, where we're getting a vertical stretch control over here. He's going to run either a curl where he's got the option to go over, and he's going to run the over like that. He's going to run this route here to to string out these defenders. Really, where they want to hit this is this player right here. They want this guy to expand, and they want to hit it on the other side of this guy. And that's exactly what we're going to see here. So this middle linebacker, he's got to feel that guy go over, and he's got to get more depth. Because how they're playing their quarters over here, when 2 goes out, the safety's eyes are going to go to 1. And what I mean by that is this player right here, when his 2 goes out, his eyes are going to get to 1. So really it ends up being like a double team on this guy, to where if he runs a post, the safety is going to be underneath it and the corner is going to be over the top of it. And this guy's going to take that guy. So we want that middle linebacker to get more depth. But the tight end, the quarterback, do a good job of understanding the coverage, and instead of bending that more, he gets upfield and just runs into grass. So this is a good understanding, and like it keeps going back to what we've been saying. Offenses are now getting more comfortable with playing together and understanding coverages and reps and timing, to where now we're starting to see some better offensive football. Now we're looking at Columbus on defense versus Dallas on offense. And Dallas has been on this tape a lot these past couple weeks. So is Columbus's defense. Not so much this week. Columbus seems to have played much better on defense. But here we're getting a run play where we're playing single high again, which we've talked about a little bit, is often where a lot of these run plays are coming from, because we're not in our gaps. And that's what it looks like we're going to see here as well. This is 3rd down and 1, so we're expecting run, but now we're really not gapped out. We're struggling to get aligned, but as we said, this is single high, which means single gap defense. But he really needs to be in that gap. We don't need to really 2 gap in single high defense. Everyone has a gap, so he should just trigger right here. He should play here, there, and there, and we're gapped out. But right here, we're not. We don't have clean eyes, or we're not understanding what our assignment is. We didn't get the call. Whatever it is, we need to stay in our gap, because that's how we avoid these explosive plays. And then we get a good block from the corner here, and then the safety takes an angle where he can't really make the open field tackle. Once again, Day Hunter, we saw him last week make a nice run, very similar to this one, down the right sideline. He's been playing well. Appreciate you watching this all the way through, getting all the way to this point. If you really like what you see, if you like seeing UFL football, if you like seeing breakdowns of how things are happening, coverage breakdowns, why people are calling what they're calling, how the run should fit, how the coverages should work, please like, comment, subscribe. Would love for you to stay around, watch more videos. We have some more in the catalog. We have our daily player spotlights that we're putting out. But once again, thank you for watching this far. We'll see you in the next video next week.